All right. Welcome to the show, y'all. Welcome to the class. It is our second live stream of Learn to Draw with me. We're going to be working through the book like last time, and we're going to be starting on page 24. That's where we're going to be picking up. We're going to be picking up here on page 24. Now, what you're going to need is you're going to need pencils and paper and, potentially an eraser. We're not really going to be using we're probably not going to be using the eraser too much, but we are going to be picking up where we left off last time, and that is going to be on page 24. 24 in the first volume of Ultimate Manga Lessons. If you really want it, you can find it on Amazon, but you shouldn't need it because we're going to be working through it right here. So let's get our paper, let's get our pencil, and let's get started, okay? And so I'm going to be starting off with a 0.9 lead. It doesn't really matter what size lead you're going to use. You can use any from a wooden pencil to a 0.5, 0.3, 0.2, 0.7. It really doesn't matter. All that matters is the foundational principles that we're going to be picking up. And so on page 24 is where we left off last night, and we're working on the 3/4 view of the face. Let me get this camera here set, and then we'll get going. Sorry for the delay, y'all. Boom, boom, here. Okay, why does it always do that? I am so sorry, y'all. Just stick with me. I appreciate your patience. We're going to get rolling right here. All right, come on now. Boom, camera. Time lapse. All right. Okay. And here we go. Page 24, we're going to start off where we left off. That's the 3/4 view. Now, as you can see, again, we're right back to the understructures, alright? So, on the skull, the cheek has a sunken depression. You can see it right here. I can bring it up closer so you can get a good view there. The cheek has a sunken depression. And so you're going to see, but with flesh covering the skull, the cheek takes on a gentle curve. So, we're going to start drawing right here. Start with our circles here. We got our cross going on, kind of down here. Our eye sockets coming in. The nasal cavities here. Got our teeth in this area. And right under the eye socket is that orbital bone that comes in, and this is where your cheek has the sunken. You got your brow line here going around, coming in through like this. Again, another brow line or brow bone to the orbital. We got our cavity right there. Got our jaw bones. And then the chin kind of coming up, back of the head back here, and then you're going to have, your bone for your neck there. And so you got that sunken depression there. But, oh, why is it blocking that? I'm so sorry, guys. Let's fix this again. We're still, we're only on class 2, so we're still kind of working all the kinks out of it. Now, going up here, and we need this light on. Whew! Alright, let's keep it rolling. Okay. We're going to do kind of our circle here. Start here. We're going to have our ear, eye, nose with a slight curve there. And then this is where, so you got your orbital bone coming in right here, just like over here on the skull. And then this is where your cheek suppression would be, impression or depression. But we're going to do a gentle curve, okay? And then kind of working with the eyes like that. Don't forget your eyelids on top of that here. And then, of course, you're going to have your hair. And remember, the hair is always floating over the scalp. Okay, so the scalp's here. You're going to have your hair floating over the scalp. You're going to want your neck to come down And then this here, starting about the eye level, nose level. So right about here, that's where your ear's gonna fit into. You're gonna have your little earlet there, here. And you can see the under impression. Now, the way they have it here in the book with the box here is always take care to give the head a sense of volume. So practicing drawing the 3/4 view of any head in the box, which we talked about last night, helps you understand the depth of everything like that. So if we were to put a box on this one right here, you know, what would we do? We'd probably do a line down like this, do a line across like that, a line over here. So this is the flat plane of the face, so right this side. Then we have this plane of the side of the head here. And you're going to notice just how boxy the head actually gets when you do this. And then you've got your cross and the box like such. And you can see the center points of the head there. So we'll do another kind of a light here. And let's start with the box like. So at this point here, kind of do more of a guy right here. You can see how you can add sense of depth practicing that box. So we've got the head in this box here, and you can see the cross on the face we used here doesn't necessarily line up with the depth of the box because of the 3/4 view, but that's okay. So this is how you can practice putting heads in boxes to be able to add a sense of depth to your, you know, your heads and your facial structures when you're drawing that kind of stuff. And now if you move on here, you can see, just like last lesson when we took the heads and we turned them, you know, with a simple circle and a cross, you were able to, wherever you put this axis line is where you positioned the faces. Let me turn that down. Let's get kind of so wherever you turn the face is dependent upon the axis line that you put on the head. Similar aspect here as well. You can do a straight on view, upward angle, downward angle, and notice when you're doing the downward angle how the features of the face get scrunched. You've got a scrunching of the nose and the mouth and everything like that. Upward angle kind of gets elongated and you start to see underneath the chin. And then straight on view of, say, the same height is what we just did in this drawing right here. And so we're going to move on to practicing these. Now, again, your sketchbook isn't really going to be a masterpiece. Every page is not to be a masterpiece. Every time you draw, it's not going to be a masterpiece. It's going to be nitty and gritty. It's going to be dirty. You're going to have to get in there, and you're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to draw 1,000 things that you absolutely just detest before you start drawing things that you like. And it's not even about the end product. It's about the process and the understanding by which you were putting the art onto the paper. It's really just throwing graphite onto a kind of a rough surface if you were to look into a microscope on this because of the tooth of the paper. With that being said, let's go ahead and let's practice these right here. So we'll read the book first, of course, and then we'll move on from there, okay? And so, reading the book first, we're looking at it here, and it goes, normal view, looking normally at a face, all right? If you memorize the shape of the head as a solid, you will be able to draw it from a wide range of angles. Again, simple shapes. That's how you're going to be able to master this stuff, because all this is built upon simple shapes. So, draw the side indicated depth, i.e. portion of the head going back in space. So, we're going to start with this here. We're going to do that in just a moment. The top of the head and underside of the chin are not visible. Remember I mentioned the scrunching when you're looking down and then the under chin when you're looking up? Those features drawn into it. So it's almost the same size, basically the same shapes, but when you put these little lines of features here, it changes the complete perspective radically from whether you're looking up or down or at directly the subject that you are currently drawing. So, doing here now, I've never been the best with squares or whatnot, but we're going to try our absolute best here. So we're going to do a line down, just a straight line, Okay, we're going to do kind of a angled like that, kind of an angled like that to get the depth, and then we're going to do the same here, but not so much angled down. We're going to kind of do it a little bit straighter, all right, because we're at a 3/4 angled view, so we're going to do a little bit straighter here. And we're going to do our line down like this, okay, and then we're going to do our line down like that. And so now we've created an almost sense of depth. You've got your flat front plane, which is closest to the viewer, and then you have the receding plane that's moving away from the viewer. All right, now we're going to do our straight lines like this. We're going to find our center point by doing our X's. We're going to be a little careful with that, okay? We're going to do our X's again, a little bit careful, so that's our center point. And then we're going to do down like that, okay? And then we're going to start to put the head in here, all right? So we're going to fill in with a circle of the head and then do the facial features of the head. Remember that simple egg shape that we started with last class, which was last night, okay? And kind of forget the boxes there. We'll come back and put it over there. And this is going to kind of tell us here, okay, so this is kind of going to be where the ear's at here, and this is kind of going to be the front of the face here. Kind of have our eyes to the point here like that. Make them do like a little smiling thing. And then of course you've got your hair, you know, which we're not going to go too crazy with because we really want to focus on this box and how we're adding the box in. I might just have to switch pencils because this one we're running through the lead way too quickly, but that's okay. And you notice, so practice that right there. And that's how you can add a sense of depth to your face. So then we do our face right here like this, come in. Yeah, we're just going to switch pencils out because we're having to twist that too much and it's just getting a little out of hand. We'll do a 0.9. We'll stick with the same size lead, but we're just going to switch to a graph gear. And so you're going to do your little circles here and come in, kind of do it like that there. You know, and then we got our ears here, our nose and our mouth, got our eyes, and you can see here, this section of the head, how the flat plane, this flat plane transfers here visually. You transfer it over. And you can see how practicing this, even though it looks messy, even though it's not a masterpiece, practicing that allows you to kind of build just simple. I mean, we're just doing simple lines here, and this gives that sense of depth, okay? And we have it here like that, so we can have our hair, you know, coming around, let's say. We'll give it a little short hair like that, do a little tuft here. You know, something simple, all right? Now, this is where we're going to get a little bit more difficult, but hey, we're going to give it our best shot. So we're going to try to do, this is a straight on, okay, straight on view. Now we're going to try to do kind of an upward view. And so we're going to start with doing our line here, kind of doing down like that, but then on this side, see, this side was more straight, this side was more down. On this one, this side's probably going to be a little bit more straight, though angling down, and then this side's going to be dramatically angled down. We're going to go here, and we're going to end up doing another dramatically angled down like that. And then we're going to have our sides coming in here like this, come down and do our angle down like that. And then this is where it gets a little bit tricky because you want to be able to have your center points, and you find that by making an X, okay? Find that by making an X there, boom. Now we've got kind of our cube. I know it's oblong, it's a little rough, but again, I mean, you don't need rulers, it doesn't need to be precise. All you got to do is have an understanding of this understructure. Notice how in this part here, this is pretty much where the eye's going to be. You're going to see this line here is right here, so your eye's going to be right here, and then it's going to wrap around. This is where that curve happens, that horizon, whatever you want to call it, boom, it wraps around on that side. So what we really want to do is we want to be able to capture that without having, so this understructure, the knowledge of this understructure is going to help you get that depth, and that's where you're going to place it. Also notice how this eye is scrunched up right in here and is a different shape than this eye here, because you're looking at these orbs. You're looking at these orbs from a different angle. This orb is perceived at a different angle than this orb here, and these are rounded eye sockets, okay? So now we're the difficult part. I've never been real great at it, but we're going to do our best. We're going to get in here and we're going to put in the actual head. So we're going to do our egg shape, you know, and then we're going to do our neck going out here, okay? And so we're going to start with the round part here, come in, and now the eyebrow, by eyebrow I mean brow bone here on the structure. Remember the skull, that brow bone? We're looking at it upward angle now, so it's going to be a little bit tighter. It's going to be a little bit more pinched, okay? So you're going to come in here, you're going to pinch a little bit, and then you're going to go into that soft, nice angling curve, and then you're going to angle the chin around. But this is where you have to angle the chin up, okay? So you notice how we're doing that line here, and then this is again right where the ear is going to be. Angle the chin up like that, and then from here you're going to come in. So notice how this is a nice kind of a C shape. You got your eyebrow here sitting right on the brow bone, which is where this orbital eye sits. And it's going to be a nice little C shape. The nose touches the side here. The tip of the nose touches the cheek line here, okay? And so that's where you're going to kind of wrap around, and it's going to feel a little tight, y'all. It's going to feel kind of tight. You can even kind of bring it out a little bit more like that, so that you have room for the eye, okay? And then this eye here is a little bit elongated, all right? And notice this is that part where you curve around, the curvature. So you come in and you draw it just like that, okay? And then you got your under eye here, and we're not, now they're doing a female in these pictures. This is kind of unisex. It's really not important. But, and then you got your mouth, okay? Now the lip, notice again, everything on this line here, because when you do the circle and the cross from last night's class, you can see that cross right here. And you can see everything on this side is scrunched. It's all scrunched, and everything here is stretched. And that's what's giving the illusion of the 3/4 view. And then to give it the upward angled view, we scrunch it up. So it's scrunched to the side and scrunched up. And that gives that angular view of looking upwards. And so, from there, you know, because we got this angled here, this angled line there. So, and then our chin comes in here, and then you do the neck. And you see how the neck kind of curls down like that? And then, now with the hair is always off the scalp. So, you kind of do your hair, and the hair rolls with the body, and then starts to roll in the back. And again, it's going to be messy, but really it's about getting that understanding in there. So again, we're going to do it without the whatchamacallit, the cube, okay? And then this is where it wraps around, so have them looking like over here, you know. And then see, eye to the top of the ear, nose to the bottom of the ear. Notice how it tapers down towards that. So the ear is actually kind of not as big as you would think it would be. And so we just kind of keep practicing here, okay guys? And again, now I didn't draw the first top of the scalp here, but you can see it there. So this hair is going to float on the scalp here. And it would kind of come up like that. So we're going to kind of curl lines like that. And you see it's kind of somewhat upward angled. This should be a little bit more scrunched upwards before you get that angledness of that effect there. And to do that would be to actually bring it down like that. So you're looking kind of upwards and angled, more straight on, more upwards. And now we're going to try the downwards one. And so now this one, you're going to kind of start with your line like this. And again, Now notice how this was more tapered downwards and this was more to the right. This one was kind of straight on and slightly downwards. This one you're actually going to be going upwards because it's a downward angle. So with the downward angle, you're going to actually have an upward inflection to the understructure, or the understanding of the understructure, to be able to capture that. It kind of inverts. So this is an upward angle with a downward deflection, or downward inflection of the understructure. And so, or it's not really understructure, but, you know, depth structure. We'll call it a depth structure. It's a structure of depth. And so you want to do a moderate high angle looking down, and then draw the side indicated depth and the top. The top of the head is visible. So remember when we went back yesterday and we did that, whatchamacallit, top of the head, and we worked on the top of the head. This is straight on down top of the head. This one is not straight on down top of the head, but it's close to it. So that's what we're going to be working with, all right? And we don't really have room here, so why don't we start on a fresh page? So we've got room. Okay, let's line that up there, and we'll just keep it rolling. So now with this here, kind of want to do your opening square. I'm going to get all your points lined up, and that way it'll help you. And then you draw your circle in there. You got the top of the head, so that means the nose is probably going to be around here. Eyes, nose around there. You're going to have your mouth here. So that indentation for the eyes, and then the cheekbone here, and then it's going to shoot up here. And again, the ear is going to be right around that center point. Okay? And you notice how we're already getting to the hair. And again, since it's still 3/4 view, you're going to have this eye scrunched up more than that eye, and then you have your nose here. And now when you do your nose, you're going to have more about that. And so you can, without the box, now the box really does help in these instances. Keep that in mind here, because everything is going to be slightly shaped weird because of that. And now the nose almost touches, almost touches this cheek over here. Instead of high up, it touches down here. And I mean, I did an over-exaggeration of the curved cheek, but that's okay. And you see, you get that downward look, and this is where you get the top of the head, and you got the hair. You can see the top of the head. And so the downward angle. Now, it's going to take a lot of practice to get, that down, but this is how you can just start with simple shapes. So if you're ever, in class or just sitting around or whatnot, you can just start doodling a complex face, complex head with just your simple shapes. And that's where we're moving into how you do the heads and the boxes to be able to get those simple shapes. Okay, now we're going to be moving into some proportions of what's going on. And so you're going to notice how here, and now when you're doing a more realistic drawing, you're going to have about 5 eyes. You're going to have a space for one eye in between both eyes, and then a space for an eye on either side. But in manga, it is actually, the eyes are extremely exaggerated and overlarged. And so, sorry, my wife is trying to distract me, y'all. Anyways, and she's doing a good job. Anyways, so I just made me forget what I was saying. So you're going to have your eyes, okay? You're going to have your eyes, and you notice how you have the same spacing. So you're going to go from 5 to about 3 because the eyes are much over enlarged. They're exaggerated in manga, specifically in this style of art. And so we're going to start with our egg shape, okay? It's kind of a very poor egg shape, but hey, doesn't really matter. And then you come in here, you're going to do your cross. I like to do the cross here. And then map out thirds. So we have a third here. And so this is your eyes here, okay? And you've got your nose right there, and you've got your lips, okay? And you can then solidify up the sides of the head and the chin and everything like that, okay? And then you can go in here and you can put more detail into the eyes, which is probably one of the more fun things to draw. Whenever I'm doodling, I always just end up doodling eyes for whatever reason. And you know, you do your eyelids, and then the eyebrow. So the orbital bone that's around the eye, because there's a big hole in the skull right here, so your eyebrow actually is probably bigger than you think. And it's okay for it to touch the sides of the head in manga. You just want to have a single eye space here, so think in terms of 3, okay? And then you've got your ear. Now notice here in manga too, this is the nose, but the bottom of the ear doesn't come all the way down to the nose. So that's another stylized aspect of manga that's a lot of times overlooked. The ears are not actually realistically drawn. So in like Western comics, you'll have an ear that starts with the eye and comes down to the nose. And you'll have 5 spaces. You'll have a space for an eye here, the actual eye, space for an eye here of the same size, then an actual eye, and then a space for an eye here on the side of the head. You'll find that in like the Andrew Loomis books. I think it comes from Bridgman, and it goes all the way back to the classic Masters, things like that, because that is actually proper proportioning of realistic humans. You know, you'll notice that when you look at a beautiful person or average person, doesn't matter, but you'll have about 5 spaces for the eyes in a direct, you know, look, because it'll be like eye, where you have that space for it. That's the proportions. But in manga, you only got 3. And so then we can actually read right here in the book, because we're kind of skipping what that says. So the 2 eyes are spaced approximately 1 eye's width apart. Notice how they're only focusing on the width apart in the center. They're not focusing on width from the sides of the head. That is very stylized with manga. You'll also notice the ear is approximately as long as the eye is wide. So again, that brings back to the point. In a realistic drawing, your ear is going to go from your corner of your eye to the, you know, tip of your nose, in terms of it be like all the way down here. But in manga, it's not that case. You're relating the size of the ear to the size of the eye, because the eyes are the most important part of drawing the manga face. It is the most stylized, the most noticeable. It's what sets manga apart from Western comics, from any other style of comics. It's what sets it apart. And so, you know, that manga style of drawing, okay? And so right here, if we take a little ruler, do I got a little ruler? Yeah, probably do. So, or actually, what's better than a ruler? We can actually take a little thing that sizes them up. Where is my little thing? My little finder. All right, here we go. So we'll set this here. We got size of the eye, space for the eye, size of the eye, width of the eye, width of the ear. Notice how that all fits together, okay? And that's going to be your proper proportionings here when drawing the manga. Now, we're going to be working on different angles. So for our 3/4 view, we're going to see here that this part of the head is the same size as that part of the head, okay? And so that's something important to start off with here in that regard. So coming in here like this. Now, I'm sorry, I can't really see the camera, guys, so I just want you to know that if you are gifting things or not, I will look, I can double check, but it's kind of above my head, because I don't really want it bopping my head when I'm drawing. So I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone for being in the live stream and watching and learning, and hopefully you're drawing along with us, and we're going to be having fun. So we drew the circle here like this. Got to do our little eye dip here. We got to do our curve for the face, and then the chin. Bring it back around. Come up and do the forehead part here. Got to kind of smooth this out a little bit. All right, and don't be scared to get messy. Don't be scared if it looks off or whatnot. You know, just draw it all over again. You don't got to erase. Erasing just wastes time. You're just wasting time with erasing. Forget erasing. Don't ever erase when you're sketching. Who cares about erasing? Just do a new sketch. You know, the more sketches you do, the better you're going to get, the faster you're going to grow. And that's just how it's going to go. And it's never comparing yourself to another artist. Never do that. That's just a recipe for suffering, okay? Because there's always a bigger fish. Only ever compare yourself to yourself. Okay? Don't focus on how good is somebody else. Focus on how good am I compared to how good was I. All right? Just putting that out there, okay? You'll save yourself a lot of emotional agony if you just forget to have to, compare yourself to other people. And so, coming in here, boom, we'll do here. So, where is it? Notice how in one fell swoop, basically, you can have like that. You see, it's just a single line, bam. And we've got an eyebrow. You can thicken up this part here, and then thicken up this part here, and boom, you got an eyebrow and a nose, just in a simple, almost like a really poorly drawn 2. Okay, and then I'm gonna do your eye here, and then your other eye is gonna go here. And notice the tip of the ear is here, so eye there, boom, and then got your eyebrow. You want to curve it around, and then lips or something that I gotta work on my lips, but that's okay. When the time comes, we'll work on the lips. But here, so we want to increase the height there just slightly, okay? And then we got our ear, comes in like that, and then we got our neck, shoots down like that. And that right there, my friends, is going to be a proportion 3-point view, where this part here, let's see if they match here. So we got our 2 lines here like this, boom, and then boom. And notice how I'm a little bit longer, and that's why it probably looks a little bit off, okay? So if that's the case, you can scrunch it up. And so we got it here like this. In fact, we'll pull it in and we'll scrunch it up a little bit here. And now, when we do this one here, we'll compare it again, and now it might actually look a little bit better. Okay? So we got our proportion size much closer. You see that? Boom, boom. Much closer, looks better. So we went from a longer chin down here, this distance right here. So boom to boom. This much distance is what we changed. And having that understructure, that knowledge of the proportions, knowledge of the understructure, allows you to move things around. Now, if you're doing digital art, you can erase and move all kinds of stuff all crazy. Like here in analog, we're getting messy. We're just trying to get the practice down, okay? And so, I'm getting graphite all over. Now, I am going to erase, y'all, and it's going to be out of my book because I'm getting pencil scuffs from my nasty fingers all over my book here, and we don't like that. We want to keep this book clean so we can use it over and over and over again to help us out, okay? So I need to start wearing like a drawing glove or something. How am I getting graphite on the finger? I don't know, but you should be getting graphite all over your fingers. It means you're drawing, and that's good. You want completely graphite covered fingers without getting it all over your book, but that is what it is. We're working through it. Hey, that's what we got to do. So we'll go to a new page here.
Where's your wedding ring?
Jenna, I'm in the middle of a live stream, okay? Please. I get eczema on my hands. I'm in the middle of a live stream. Please, let me continue on. You know that. It's on my keychain. Where I keep it with me everywhere. And we're in the middle of a live stream. Why can't you text me that, love? Sorry about that, guys. Okay? And so, my pregnant wife, she wants the world to know that I'm married. I am married, everybody. Happily married to my pregnant wife, who is pregnant with my daughter. So, the world knows that. We've said it on live stream. Everybody knows, so hopefully she's happy. All right? And it flares up the eczema and it hurts the hands. Okay? And so, moving on from there, we're going to have to draw. So the downward angle. Notice how this would be the halfway point. Shoom like that. Everything's scrunched into here. Same shape, maybe a little bit longer. and then it's scrunched down here. Notice how the neck changes, it flares out, everything like that, and we can draw it right here. So high angle view, the eyes appear to slant upward, okay? From this view, the top of the head occupies more space than the face. That's that scrunching I was talking about, all right? That way you understand what's going on with the scrunching, okay? And so from there, I guess my wife's proud of me and she wants the world to know that I'm married to her. And, I'm married to my wife. That's who I'm married to. And, moving in here, come out like that. Notice how, like, the nose and the mouth are just all right here. We've already got our upward angled eyes, coming in at this point here. We got our eyebrows like that, okay? And so, we want to be able to really solidify that egg shape when we're drawing. We want to be able to put our eyebrows on there and have the downward looking egg, or downward looking angle. We're going to increase the forehead here and kind of do it like this. Now the nose is going to be, the way you draw the nose is really going to sell if they're looking down or not. Okay, and then that's really going to sell it there. And then your ears are going to just kind of be real small, real scrunched up, because you're looking at them in like this weird angle like that. And so you've got more here than here. And again, you pull out your little measuring device here, and you notice you got your measuring sight here, and you got your measuring sight here. It's almost double, okay? Same here. So the same is almost doubled up here. So you've got your measuring sight here, like that. It's like doubled, and my drawing is not quite as good. I should really scrunch this up a little bit more. So if we want to scrunch this up a little bit more, we want to draw the eyes down here like this, draw the eyes downward like that, and we draw the eyes downward here and really scrunch it up. Bring in the chin a little bit closer, okay, and really kind of scrunch that nose and the lips together. And then drew your eyebrow down here like this. And you'll see now it's more doubled. So now it looks a little bit better, okay? And that's how you can practice that downward angle. And then you're going to do your downward 3/4 angle here. Alright, you're going to have an ear up here. You're going to have the eye kind of over here. And the nose is actually going to shoot past that point there. I totally am butchering this, but that's okay. Moving on here. That downward angle. You notice how everything's scrunched down a little bit. You've got this double again. And see, that's quick. We did that in like, 10 seconds? Not probably more like 20, but still. It's, not the best, but gets the job done. You can always come in and work it just a little bit harder. And you can start making it really look how you want it to look. And so that's that kind of downward angle that you're going to do. Again, now the low angle view says the eyes appear to slant downward, whereas on the high angle view, the eyes appear to slant upwards. Okay, so if you're looking down at them, which is the high angle, you're looking from a high angle, your eyes are going to slant upwards. If you're looking from a low angle or looking up, the eyes will slant down. And you can see that here in the book and everything like that. Okay, and so that's where we're working with that here. So we'll do our normal egg shape again. We'll kind of do it, get in it all looking kosher. Got to keep it looking. Now notice how in manga Didn't even draw the nose. Just drew the nostrils. Just drew the nostril holes. Didn't even draw the nose, and it completely renders the nose. It shows you right where it's at. Now it's not completely rendered because they're not drawing every line, but it gives you the effect of the nose actually being there. And then you've got your lips, which I'm never the best at drawing, and you've got your chin kind of like that, and then coming down like this would be the face, and then so we'd have the face kind of coming out like this, and that's where your indentation is going to be for the head on the ears. So notice how we drew the indentations more pronounced, but and see now they're kind of looking down at you. And so the eyes, now these eyes, I drew them straight on. That was wrong. Supposed to draw them slanted slightly. And you're going to see how when I do that, it really solidifies the looking down. So now they're really looking down at you, okay? And that's that looking up. So we're looking up and it's kind of looking down their nose at us. And that's where we're going with that. And so, again, on the 3/4 view, kind of, and again, you see how I'm not even really doing the egg shape or the circle. I'm just like throwing barely a circle up there, and just knowing where the understructure is, I'm start placing these features, and then working on the features and moving the features slightly to evoke the image, to evoke the subject in such a way as to let us know what's going on. So again, we've got our cross here, but then we're going to be doing our cross like that. So our downward slanted eyes, okay, downward slanted eyes here, got your eyebrow here, and I haven't even drawn the sides of the face. I'm even just placing, you know, these features. Okay, and then that really tells me, like, alright, so then the eye shoots up like that, and then the cheek sticks out like that. See, now I've got my indentation right along the straight cross that's not even angled or positioned. It's just my straight cross, and then I have my curved cross to be able to see where that's going. So the cheek here, and then comes down here like this, and then we've got our chin, which is going to follow that circle around, you know, to our ear, which is going to be below. Now, notice how the ear isn't all aligned. It's got to drop, because when you look up, the ear has to drop. And we get the back of the head, and so we're drawing the head around like that, and you see, now we have that upward looking angle. And so it's all about where you're putting the features. The features get scrunched around. So imagine like you have a circle and you got your features on there and you're just moving the features around, just scrunching them up all over the different places to be able to kind of get that look, okay? And when you're sketching, again, I cannot stress, forget about erasing. Because if you're too worried about making the mistakes and erasing this and that, that's not good. You know, sketch it even here. Like you see, I've drawn the eye twice. It looks messy as all get out, but in fact, what it's helping me do is it's helping me see in my mind subconsciously placing like, okay, scrunch more here, pull more there, put it at this angle here. And if it gets too messy, that's okay. Just do it all over again. Just go to a fresh page and just start drawing it all over again from scratch, and do it quickly. Also, the other thing too is if you draw slowly, you're not going to have that confident lines. My lines aren't that confident. They're very sketchy. But if you draw quickly, if you draw fast, this is something Matthew Newell taught me in an art class back when I was in college. He was a great art professor. drawing quickly when you're drawing the human figure or anything allows you to get it up there more accurately faster. It also allows you to grow quicker because you know what you actually have digested into your muscle memory when you are drawing quickly, and you're just moving through it. Because the fact of the matter is you're not working on a masterpiece. You're working on the process. A masterpiece will be a byproduct of mastering the process. So you go from mastered process to a mastered piece. You can't have a masterpiece unless you have a master process. And if you've mastered the process, you will produce a piece that represents your mastery, thus a masterpiece. So, and to get there, you gotta get through the grung. You gotta go through the ditch. You gotta dig through it. Look at this messiness. You know, these sketches are not good, but we gotta do them 1,000 times, over and over and over again, non-stop, to be able to get through all the craziness, okay? And so from there, we move on to looking over here. What we got here is more, again, downward angles. So we're going to start from the 3/4, a more angled 3/4 view, because these weren't that angled 3/4. This is a more dramatic 3/4 to an actual profile. So a semi-profile to a full profile. And you can even see here, once you get this down, you'll be doing this in just simple lines, okay? So this time we'll try it a little bit different, all right? We're going to do a cross here, and we're just going to start with the features. We're going to put the eye right here on the cross, okay? And we're going to put this eye here, a little bit further away from the cross. Then moving here, we're going to start the nose there. And then directly under that, we're going to do the lips. And then under that, we're kind of going to do the chin, okay? And then the eyebrow. And that's when we're going to come in with the head. And notice, even from starting with the cross, instead, I didn't even do that circle. I didn't even do the understructure. I just did it on the cross, placing the features. You can already start evoking that sense of looking. Okay, now we'll do it again with the circle here, and we'll do the cross like that, and we'll do the downwards angle like that. Come in with our eye very much so like this here. Come in with our eye very much so like that there. Start in here. You know, and you can see coming around. You know, it's not looking that pretty, but that's where we're going with it. And you can see it's more of a side view there. Now, this right here, the reason why this isn't looking quite as good is because these eyes aren't necessarily the correct shape, okay? These eyes are still more drawn like the straight-on view. And so we'll get into more detail about eyes later. Really, we're just trying to get a placement for the structures of the face and everything like that. We're just trying to get a placement for that. And so, alright, let's see here. Alright. Now, alright guys, it has been a great class. We're going to kind of wrap it up here, alright? We've been going through it, basically, as best we can. We're leaving off on page 27. We're getting into more nitty-gritty stuff. And we did a really good class with here, and I really appreciate you guys. Loved you guys being here. It was a great time, okay? And again, tomorrow night, 9 to 10, that's when we'll be doing it. We started almost on time tonight, just a tad bit late instead of like last night, and we ran through, so it's going to be great. Thank you for coming, guys. Thank you for having fun.
Thank you.